you basically ran down for us this Facebook announcement that they're going to attempt to start a quasi cryptocurrency. I don't know if it's a fully cryptocurrency, but you compared it to old timey script that was used in company towns, and in this instance, the company is Facebook, and the town is far more expansive because it's going to involve a lot of other corporations for which we do business, and the sheer size of the Facebook audience, if they adopted this, would make it far more effective and useful than something like Venmo. You wanted to compare it to WeChat. Before we do that, tell me about this Libra or whatever it is, like the bank, like
Calibra, yeah.
Calibra.
So Calibra is the digital wallet, and that the Libra is this consortium that's owned in a Swiss corporation, underwritten by hundreds or at this point 28 organizations. Facebook is not doing the direct governance. However, Facebook is the wholly owned subsidiary of this digital wallet, this thing Calibra. And that could be used to extract transaction funds every time you use Calibra, or you store it, or you hold it. Calibra is sort of the way you would use Libra to pay for things, right? And there are all sorts of applications for that, financial services that could be offered through Calibra, and whatnot. And the way that you can already see this being problematic is the fact that Libra, you pay your $10 and you get 8 Libra or whatever it is. And then you get to hold them in your wallet and you store it, and that sounds kind of like a bank, right? I mean, you are paying money into this this thing, and then you have the ability to sort of pay it out in an ATM situation, as it were, or a debit card transaction. Now, if you have a bank account in the United States, for the most part, you're getting some sort of interest on that money. Because what you're doing is you're handing over this money to someone to hold, and with the understanding that that bank will be using that money to make investments and do all sorts of things with those deposits. But Libra in the documents say that we will be investing the reserves of Libra, and we will keep the reserves of Libra. We will not be giving them to the customers, potentially billions of customers, that we will just use their money to make investments, and the proceeds will go to us. So imagine a bank without any interest, and that's what you have with Libra.
And I guess presumably one of the dangers is what kind of investments are you making? Who's going to regulate these investments? Because now you're functioning as a bank, but you're outside of the banking regulatory scheme. And the reason why we have banks in...
Absolutely. They say in the document that they will only use safe, low-risk investments.
Oh, okay. As long as they say that.
Sovereign debt of Greece was seen as a low-risk investment prior to 2010.
Right.
Mortgage-backed securities were seen as a low-risk investment under the banking laws prior to 2008. So this idea that it would only be low risk, and you raise the exact right question. What is this thing, and who will regulate it? Is it a bank? Is it a currency? Is it just sort of a digital wallet like a PayPal or a Venmo? Who is responsible for overseeing this? And it's global. So who is responsible in all of the countries of the world? Say there's someone that wants to ferret money out of a country. They exchange it from Turkish dollars or something into Libra. And that washes the money, launders the money, and then they convert it back into dollars, and they can use it freely. Who's regulating that? Who usually a bank would have to file some sort of suspicious activity report to figure out if someone is engaged in money laundering, at least to raise the question for regulators. Does Libra have to do that? We have no idea. So that's just one of probably 10,000 examples that you could come up with for the questions being raised on what fundamentally this thing is and how it's going to be regulated.
And I'm frankly, that's also just one silo of problems that I can just sit here and think about off the top of my head. Even if we had it perfectly regulated like a bank, the problem is that there is a private entity that sort of owns and controls this currency. And so if they decide at one point, we have now had enough market saturation, right? We have, I don't know, 1 billion people using Libra. Guess what?
Right.
Guess what? Retail outlets. If you want to take Libra now, guess how much it's going to cost you? You're going to have to kick
That's
back
correct.
to us. I mean, this is sort of one of the classic sort of like sin-fin type of things, right? You can't. You can't syndicate and own it. Go ahead.
Right. Even if they don't take a penny out of any transaction, this is a seriously problematic proposal from the standpoint of corporate power monopoly. Because I mentioned WeChat before. If you go to China right now, it's very hard to spend paper money because this app called WeChat, which combines social media, chatting service, and payments, is basically all that anyone uses to pay for anything within the country of China. And that's really what Facebook is after. They want you to stay on their site, to be stuck on their site, so that they can basically provide you with anything and everything that you would ever want or desire. And think of how much more data richness you would have and how much more valuable ads would be if you're a company that essentially is an indispensable digital partner for millions, hundreds of millions, maybe billions of users all around the world. You don't necessarily even have to take money off the top of the transactions, which they probably will.
Right.
But they don't even have to do that in order to make this a serious monopoly problem that would require a tremendous amount of scrutiny.
And then on top of that, of course, there is the sort of more broad and general issue of monopolies when, if we think Facebook has too much power now and we can't get Mark Zuckerberg to do anything we want now, wait until they own a currency that 1 billion people are using. David Dayen, a fascinating topic that I know that we'll be talking about more going into the future. It's going to be interesting to see how this implicates some of the presidential contenders who are interested in monopoly, but we will find out about that shortly in the future, I imagine. David Dayen, always a pleasure.